Year 2. Very nice meeting you. I am Mr. Willie Wonka.
It's time to read my story.
So today's story is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Have you heard of it before? I'm sure you did. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was written by the famous British novelist and poet called Roald Dahl. Good. Now, as usual, whenever we read a new story, we have to draw a story map. Part 1. Now I'm going to read the story, and each time you hear a character's name, write it down. Let's go.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Chapter 1. The Bucket Family.
This is a story about a boy called Charlie Bucket. There were 6 people in his family, but none of them were Charlie's brothers or sisters. So who were they? First, Mr. and Mrs. Bucket, Charlie's mother and father. The other 4 people were Charlie's grandparents. They were so old they stayed in bed all day and never got up. But they didn't have much room because they slept in the same bed. Grandpa Joe and Grandma Josephine at one end, Grandpa George and Grandma Georgina at the other end.
Chapter 2. Charlie's House.
Charlie's family lived in a very small house. It wasn't easy for them. They were so poor. His mother tried hard to make nice meals, but it was always cabbage, or bread, or potatoes, or more cabbage. Charlie dreamed of eating something else. Most of all, he dreamed of chocolate.
Chapter 3. The Chocolate Factory.
In Charlie's town, near his house, there was a chocolate factory. It was the biggest and most famous chocolate factory in the world. All day long, he could smell that most delicious chocolate smell. If I had just one wish, Charlie thought, I would go inside that factory.
Chapter 4. The First Golden Ticket.
One day, Grandpa Joe was reading the newspaper.
Charlie, listen! 5 golden tickets, each and a bar of Wonka chocolate. Find one and visit the chocolate factory.
The next day, Augustus found the first ticket. He was a greedy boy and nobody liked him.
Chapter 5. The Second Golden Ticket.
The next lucky child was Veruca. Her parents bought her thousands of Wonka bars. Veruca couldn't wait to open them. She just lay on the floor, kicked her legs, and shouted, Where is my golden ticket? I want my golden ticket! When at last someone found one, she was happy.
Chapter 6. Charlie's Birthday.
3 tickets left. Charlie hoped he would be lucky. Every year on his birthday, his family gave him a delicious bar of Wonka chocolate. Perhaps this year it would have a golden ticket inside. How happy Charlie would be.
Chapter 7. The Third Golden Ticket.
Poor Charlie. But someone else was much happier. It was Violet, who found the third ticket. This girl loved chewing gum. She always had some in her mouth. If anyone found a piece of gum on their clothes, she just laughed. Grandma Georgina thought she was a horrible child.
Chapter 8. The Fourth Golden Ticket.
Soon after Charlie's birthday, Grandma Josephine was reading the newspaper. Listen, a horrible boy called Mike has found a golden ticket. Mike was crazy about television. He watched it all the time. If anyone tried to talk to him, he would shout, "Go away! Can't you see I'm watching television?"
Chapter 9. Charlie finds some money. Ooh.
A few days later, Charlie was walking home from school. It was a very cold day. Suddenly, he saw something in the snow. It was some money. To Charlie, this meant only one thing: food. I must give it to my mom, he thought. But first, perhaps I'll...
Chapter 10. A bar of chocolate, please.
The kind of food Charlie was thinking about was chocolate. In no time at all, he was inside a shop. After buying a bar of Wonka chocolate, he quickly pulled off the paper. What a delicious smell! Then Charlie saw something yellow under the chocolate. He couldn't believe his eyes.
Chapter 11. The Fifth Golden Ticket.
A few minutes later, Charlie arrived back home. I found it! I found it! He shouted. Found what? Asked his grandparents. A golden ticket! Answered Charlie.
Hooray!
Shouted Grandpa Joe.
Hooray!
Then, forgetting where he was, he jumped high in the air. His soup went all over Grandma Josephine. Chapter 12.
The big day.
At last, the day arrived. It was a lovely sunny morning. Hundreds of people were standing outside the famous factory. They were waiting to see the children who were going inside for the day,
Stand back! Stand back!
said a policeman as a line of people walked past. Veruca came first, wearing an expensive skirt and jacket. Next came Mike, dressed like someone in a TV film. Then came Augustus and Violet. All these children had their parents with them, but not Charlie, who was last in the line. He had Grandpa Joe.
Chapter 13. Meet Mr. Willy Wonka.
10 o'clock. Time to begin. But where was Mr. Willy Wonka? Then someone shouted, "That's him!" And it was so. All eyes turned towards the funny little man with his pointed beard.
My dear children,
He said,
how do you do? And these are your parents? How nice! Come in. To be continued.
So let's review the characters of the story. First of all, the main character is Charlie. Then we talked about his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Bucket. His grandparents, Grandpa Joe, Grandma Josephine, Grandpa George, Grandma Georgina. After that, we talked about Augustus, the first child who won a golden ticket. Then Veruca, the child who won the second golden ticket. After that, Violet, who won the third golden ticket. Then Mike, who got the fourth golden ticket. And Mr. Willy Wonka. Good job. Now let's go back to our main objective. I can draw a story map. Part 1. Don't forget your success criteria. Capital letter, full stop, finger spaces, adjectives, similes if you want, and onomatopoeia if you want. So here's what you're going to do. As usual, you are going to draw the main events of the story in these boxes and then write a few sentences to explain your drawing. And again, don't forget your success criteria.
See you soon, year 2.